Hi guys, and welcome to today's daily video blog. Now, in yesterday's video, I asked you guys to submit a question in the comments section for me to answer in today's video, and that's what I'm going to do. So this video might be a little longer than my average video, so you get that on the bigs. Alright, let's get started. First question is, where did you learn to cook? Okay, I learned to cook. Well, I started out with my mum because she was probably the best cook I've ever known. I mean, she could turn dirt into a gourmet meal. From there, I started to absorb cooking magazines, cookbooks, cooking TV shows, all that sort of stuff, and I got inspiration from all these different sources, and it's pretty much where it sort of got me today, where I definitely focus on the home-style type stuff, and that's the kind of thing I like to do, and that's what everyone seems to enjoy watching when I do it, so there we go. Next question. I'll just let you know, I haven't actually read most of these questions, so these are a surprise. And this one, have you ever committed a crime and gotten away with it? That was submitted by Clownlock. And Clownlock, I plead the fifth, and I will say that I definitely didn't get away with it. Anyway, that'll get them talking. That is the most bizarre question. Okay, Ready Lion says... Oh, that's not a question. Okay, he's just being nice. Boys of Summer 183 says, what are your favourite types of recipes to film, sweets or casseroles, and what is your all-time favourite food? Okay, when it comes to filming recipe videos, they're pretty much all the same. I would say that when it comes to ease, the sweet stuff is usually easier to do than the savoury stuff, because the sweet stuff's usually just assembling ingredients, while doing like savoury stuff like a casserole or something, you've got all the prep work to begin with, like chopping up vegetables and getting stuff ready and all that sort of stuff. But I'm pretty easy either way. I'm quite happy doing either. So I don't think I have a specific favourite of the two types. What was your favourite food of all time? Oh God. It changes because I have varying tastes. So it sort of changes on a almost a daily basis. I have been going through a tortilla phase at the moment, sort of making things with wraps and whatnot like that. So I found this fantastic cafe recently that does a chicken Caesar wrap. It's all in a tortilla thing, and it's toasted, and it's amazing. And if I could find a way of replicating that, because there's something they do to the chicken that just makes it mwah. So I don't know. So that's my favourite food at the moment, is a chicken Caesar wrap. So okay. Empire of the Sun 08. If someone came to your house for lunch and didn't bring anything with them, are you entitled to do the same, even if it may be something you usually do if they invite you for lunch? I guess it depends. I wouldn't hold someone... Well, let's put it this way. If I invite someone to lunch or to dinner at my house, usually the first thing they ask is, do you want me to bring anything? And I'll usually say no, unless they want to bring a bottle of wine or something like that. But I wouldn't hold it against them if they didn't bring something, because like they're my guests, so they're coming around to my house, I'm providing whatever it is they want. So I don't generally bring stuff with me if I go to somebody's house. I will usually ask beforehand, sort of going, do you want me to bring anything? Because I don't like bringing food when I'm going to somebody's house for a meal, because it kind of looks rude, like it's sort of going like, oh, I'm sure your food's going to be crap, so I brought something as a backup. So I usually just ask if you want me to bring dessert, do you want me to do this, do you want me to bring a salad, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what I do. What have we got? Lol, non-ml, people's usernames are difficult. I'm not going to say the usernames anymore. What type of books do you like to read, and what type of movies do you watch? I like crime books. I've been going through a thing about reading about serial killers recently, which I don't know what that says about my personality, but I do a lot of reading of that sort of type thing. Anything factual. I'm not really big on fiction at the moment. I just read... the life story of Judith Lucy, who she's an Australian comedian, and she was talking about her life growing up and discovering when she was in her 30s that she was adopted, and the craziness that happened with that. And it was an extremely funny and extremely touching book, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's called The Lucy Family Alphabet. So you can even get it on iTunes as an audiobook, and it's actually read by Judith Lucy, and it's very, very funny. I downloaded it recently, and we played it in the car when I went down to Canberra, so it was a great thing to listen to. What kind of movies do I watch? I don't watch a lot of movies these days, because most of the modern movies are just utter crap. They're just put together by people looking to make a quick buck, so they just put together any old bollocks. But I like sort of romantic comedies. I like some kind of action films. I do like sci-fi, so anything sci-fi I'll probably watch. So I haven't got around to watching Avatar yet, though. I think I'm like the only person on Earth who hasn't watched it. I've got it on DVD. I haven't got around to actually watching it yet, so I might do that tonight. Next one. Are dried herbs a sin? Absolutely not. No. I have an entire cupboard of dried herbs, and I think it's a convenience. I don't think you're losing anything. Of course, using fresh herbs is great, but I find in my position, fresh herbs are often quite expensive, especially considering that they've got a limited shelf life once you've bought them. So I almost always use dried herbs, and I will get the occasional fresh one if I need it, but yeah, I don't think that's a sin at all. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world right now? I would love a 2-week holiday in New Caledonia. I would love to go to see those beautiful white sandy beaches and that beautiful blue azure water. That would be just absolutely going to heaven for me. I would love to go to Noumea and New Caledonia and all that sort of area, the South Pacific. It would be just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Next question. Banana chips or strawberry chips, which do you like better? I've never even heard of strawberry chips, so I'm going to go for banana chips because I love dry banana chips. They're yum. What's the most elaborate way to announce your presence when entering a room full of random people who don't know you? This is from Eggman, and he's a bit of a nutcase. Most elaborate way to announce your presence while entering a room would be... Don't judge me, love me. Let's see. Next question. Trying to find it. Gas or electric stove? Gas. I haven't had a gas stove for ages, and I miss it so much. The last 2 places I've lived in have only had electric appliances in the kitchen, and there's just no comparison. I mean, trying to boil water on an electric stove can take forever, while you put it on a gas thing, it's done in a minute. So, and the same thing with an oven as well. You can preheat a gas oven in like that, and an electric one takes ages. So I love having gas. So that's going to be taken so out of context. I love having gas. What's next then? Utterly hero-like. Ever considered growing a beard? Not in a million years. I know it's strange because like a lot of people see that I don't shave on a regular basis, but it's more because when I shave, I've got very sensitive skin right here and on the bottom of my neck. And when I shave, it comes up almost like a sort of a shaving rash type thing. So I try to avoid shaving on a daily basis because it really sort of does all sort of trouble with my skin. But if I don't have a shave every 2 to 3 days or so, it becomes very itchy and I sort of find myself scratching like that and I can't stand it. So, no, I would never have a beard. I don't think I could handle it. Who have we got next? Trill Bill. We love him. Do you have any pets in your house? No, I don't. I used to have a goldfish many years ago, but I don't have any pets. I'm not an animal person. And question 2, when are you going to replace Lady Gaga with your fantastic singing? Well, you don't want my opinions on Lady Gaga because I'll get the Lady Gaga fans trying to tear me apart. But that being said, I could fart into a microphone and come up with a better single. Next question. Who has inspired you most in your life, and who is your favourite celebrity? I suppose my mum has probably been the biggest inspiration, especially when it comes to cooking and things like that. I think it's sort of... her life and my life are actually quite a good parallel because when she first got married, she said it many times, she had no idea how to cook. She couldn't boil an egg, let alone anything else. And basically just grabbed books, absorbed them, learned it, and really sort of mastered how to do home-style cooking. And I'm certainly on the way to doing that. I'm sort of done very similar things where I've learned from her, I've learned from books and things, and getting there. So, yeah. Who is your favourite celebrity? I would have to say John Barrowman, only because he's one of those few people that are a genuine all-round entertainer. He's a singer, he's an actor, he's a dancer, choreographer, he does the lot. There's no question that he's just one of the most genuinely talented people in the world. For those of you who don't know who John Barrowman is, that's Jack... What's his name? Captain Jack Harkness in Doctor Who and Torchwood. So, told you I like sci-fi. Okay, next question. Do you live in a city or a village? I live near the beach, so it's like a small suburb. What have your... Oh, this is Pocket Bike Freak 666, so he's German, he's still learning English. What have you for exotic fruits in your garden? I've got these gorgeous, what look like palm trees in the backyard, but it's actually pawpaw trees. So I've got these big pawpaw fruits, papaya, coming off the tree, and I get them all year round. So... looking out the window, I can actually see a big bunch, like there's probably about 30 of these fruits just dangling down. They're still ripening, so lovely. And what was his last question? What's your favourite drink? And what's your favourite food and drink? Well, chicken Caesar wrap, and for a drink, there's a coffee place. I don't know if they're well known outside of Australia. It's a coffee chain called Gloria Jean's. It's like Starbucks, and they do an iced coffee which is creme brulee flavoured, and it is divine. It's like, I think they put like 2 or 3 shots of espresso coffee into it, and it's just astonishing. It is really the nicest thing. I don't get to have it very often, but when I do, I'm sort of like fun. Okay, so next question. What have we got? What's the best day or experience of your life to date? Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know. I'll come back to that one. What's your favourite foreign food to cook at home and or to go out for? Special fried rice. Absolutely love special fried rice. I like my version of it, but I like to actually go and get it from the takeaway or something, because that way I don't have to cook it. But yeah, I like that. Where's the most interesting place you visited? I'd probably say Russia during the Soviet Union years. When I was very small, probably about 6 or 7 or so, my parents and I went on a little world tour. We went around different places, and one of the places we went to was Soviet Russia. And we went to Moscow, Leningrad, or St. Petersburg, or as it's called now, and it was a weird country, very, very strange, and it was beautiful in places and bloody awful in others, but it was a really interesting place to go to. So that would be my answer to that. Best day or experience of my life? I'm really not sure, because I don't know. I would probably say it's probably something simple. Is that I remember going out for my 21st birthday many, many years ago, and I went to the club that I used to run. I used to run a gay nightclub, and it was so much fun that night because I had all my friends there. We were all having drinks. We were partying on, dancing and stuff. It was a great night. That would probably be one of my favourite experiences. So I'll go for that one. I'll probably think of something better later. Were you ever afraid of handling blenders and food processors? And have you ever eaten whipped cream straight from the can? I've never been afraid of handling blenders or food processors. I assume you mean like the sharp blade bits. No, it's just like knives. As long as you're careful, there's no danger. And have you ever eaten whipped cream straight from the can? I have eaten whipped cream straight from things you wouldn't believe. And that I'm going to leave. When you initially publicly stated you were gay, did you have any troubles with family, friends or work colleagues? If so, how did you deal with them? I didn't have any problems. That was many years ago, and I never had an issue. Everyone was very accepting of it. They never had a problem with it. Some people already knew, so It was never an issue. If you could have any 3 people round for dinner, who would they be and what would you cook? Goodness gracious. I don't know, to be honest, because you always get these ones that go, I'd like Mahatma Gandhi because he'd this, that and the other, and I'd like Mother Teresa because blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think I'd want that. I think I'd rather just have my friends round and open a bottle of wine and make dirty jokes. Like, it's sort of like, that's the kind of thing. They're the best kind of dinner parties, when you've got your friends coming round and just absolutely having a great night together. What would I cook? My idea of a perfect dinner party is something that's just basically simple, easy stuff. And the camera keeps moving. How strange. Anyway, dinner party food shouldn't be this overly complex type stuff, because a lot of people seem to have this thing about the 80s where you had to have a dinner party with this outrageously difficult and expensive food. But what I like to do is do like little bits of finger food type stuff, like little nibblies that people can just sort of nosh on while they're talking, sort of, as opposed to having a full sort of sit down meal. So that's the kind of thing I would do. Where are we? Do I play video games? Just curious. Not really. I used to play video games, but these days I don't. I actually got... A lot of people made fun of me, actually, because since I bought my Mac, I hadn't actually had any games on the computer at all, except for stuff on Facebook. And I kind of got excited on one day, and on Twitter I sort of said, I just bought some games for my Mac, and people were sort of going, what did you get? What did you get? And I'm there sort of going, I got Peggle, and I got Hoyle's board games, and they all sort of looked at me going, God, you're such a geek. But yeah, that's the kind of games I like. I like something that sort of stimulates the brain. I like I've done the mindless blasting of zombies thing years ago, so meh. So I don't really do much video games these days. Have you ever met Nico, Rob J. Nixon? I have not met him in person because we live about 5,000 kilometres apart. It's impractical for us to meet in person. But we talk maybe 2 times a week on video chat on Skype, and we become very good friends. So we talk quite regularly, and he's a great bloke. He's very funny. If you haven't seen his videos, go over and check out his channels. He's doing some great stuff. What have we got next? What TV shows do you enjoy watching? I'm loving Stargate Universe at the moment. It's starting to get better. It was a bit dodgy at the beginning, but I'm kind of enjoying that. What else do I watch? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of TV these days because a lot of it's just reality shows and stuff, and I'm not that worried about it. I like The Amazing Race. That's probably the only reality show I do like. I like the idea of travelling and stuff like that, so like the Amazing Race sort of is my travelling by proxy. What have we got next? Are there any foods that you just can't stand? This is tabloid junk. Hey TJ. Brussels sprouts. You could not pay me enough to eat Brussels sprouts, and I'm not a big fan of sort of oysters, mussels, things like that. I'm not a big seafood eater. I don't mind a bit of whitefish. I don't mind a bit of prawns and shrimp and things like that. Calamari, that's fine, but most seafood I'm not really that fussed on, especially stuff that looks like little balls of snot covered in seawater. Bleh, yuck, can't stand it. Let's see, where are we? What's on your iPod or CD player right now? I just downloaded the new Glee soundtrack. I think it's volume 3. So I've been listening to that recently, and I've been listening to Glee's version of all these great old songs like Total Eclipse of the Heart and things like that. So I love how that show... that actually goes to the favourite TV shows, I suppose. Yeah, Glee. I love watching Glee. But yeah, I love how Glee take these old dodgy songs and make them new again, and it's quite good. So like that's what I've been listening to at the moment. If you were cooking a meal for Lady Gaga, what's with the Lady Gaga stuff? I knew I shouldn't have done that. If you were cooking a meal for Lady Gaga, what dishes would you prepare and why? Well, based on her style, I'd probably give her Diet Coke and a packet of smokes, because it looks like all she actually eats and drinks. Favourite movie of all time? Ooh, I'm not really sure, actually. Favourite movie of all time? I think it would be a toss-up, and they're completely different movies, a toss-up between American Beauty and Thelma and Louise. And I know that sounds like two randomly different things, but I think they're sort of like... Thelma and Louise is a great story to it, and it really has a message, and American Beauty is just brilliantly funny, and it's so well shot. I love the camera work and the cinematography and stuff that's done in that. It's just a beautiful film to watch. So that would probably be a toss-up between there. Have you ever been out of Australia? Yes, I have. I have been, like I said before, Soviet Russia. I've been to the UK. I have been to Thailand, Singapore, India. Can't remember where else. I think that's it. Yeah, Thailand, Singapore, India, the United Kingdom, Russia. I think that's everywhere. Yeah, it was many years ago, though. I haven't been travelling for like 20 odd years, which is sad. I really need to do some more travelling. What foreign language do you have a reasonable command of? Beyond English, I used to be really good at French. French was actually my special subject at school, but due to lack of use, my ability to speak French has really gone to like that. So I could probably, if I was dropped in the middle of France, I'd probably pick it up really quickly again, because it's just one of those things that sparks off your memory. But I haven't spoken French for a very long time, so I would go for that one, I would say. So that looks like all the questions. Yay! I managed to answer just about everyone's questions, so I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. Alright, well, that's the end of today's daily vlog. This has probably gone on a lot longer than I intended, but hey, that's reality. Alright, guys, I shall talk to you later.